With its mix of modern and traditional, Amsterdam is a city that has a split personality. It's where cafes are not where you get coffee, and it's where window shopping has a whole other meaning. It's where Dutch masters reside and where the Dutch have mastered the art of cheese. And it's where the best way to get around is by two wheels or by boat. With an international food scene and local favorites, Amsterdam delights the senses. And it's where for the next 4 days we are going to be exploring, experiencing, and eating our way through this unique city. Our trip started in Istanbul for the 4-hour flight to Amsterdam. The Netherlands are comprised of 12 provinces, with Amsterdam located in the province of North Holland. While we are here, we'll be trekking all over the city and doing a few day trips to see the windmills in Zaanse Schans, the romantic city of Haarlem, and the cheese capital of Gouda. Good morning, and welcome to Amsterdam. We flew in last night. We're staying in a very cute Airbnb. We're staying in a houseboat, which is something completely unique and we thought appropriate for Amsterdam to be on the water. In fact, there's a barge going past us right now. Today we are heading to a museum. We're not big museum people,
but we're going to the Van Gogh Museum this morning to check that out.
It's a little smaller, it's more focused. The Rijksmuseum is supposed to be a world-class museum, but it's just not for us. But we got a lot of fun stuff planned to go check out here in Amsterdam, as well as in the neighboring area.
And a lot of food to try.
And a lot of food to try, including the one thing you're dreading.
The herring.
Herring.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
I'm gonna try it. Hopefully she'll try it. But we gotta go catch a tram to get to the museum. The Van Gogh Museum celebrates Dutch Impressionist Vincent van Gogh. It's a user-friendly museum, especially for those who like colorful landscapes and introspective self-portraits.
We're going to the museum. So inside the museum, they do have the rule that you cannot videotape, but you can take photos. So we did take some photos while we were in there. We spent about an hour and a half in there. It was a great museum, very well done, very informative, learned some new stuff. So overall, fantastic. One of the things we love about many cities in Europe are all of the gardens.
I'm sure it's a great museum, but a little too much for us. With the exception of having to constantly look out for bikes, the beauty of Amsterdam is easy to see when exploring by foot.
Usually every city we go to, we pick up an ornament to remember the city by. Or some cute little orange clogs. So we have a herring. It's cut up into chunks with onion and pickle. So for me, hopefully that'll drown out the flavor of the fish.
We've tried things that we thought we wouldn't like haggis.
Yeah.
And we liked it. So
But
I think
I'm not a fish person. Here we go. Cheers.
very fishy.
It doesn't taste very fishy, but it's not really my jam.
Well, you tried it.
I tried.
So I'm just going to try it with the onions first and see, get more of the fish instead of just the pickles and the onions. It's super mild. It's not fishy. I thought it was going to be like an anchovy. Nothing like that at all. Very mild. Like sushi in a way. I'm going to try it with pickle. The pickle adds a little bit of a sweetness to it and more vinegar. But it's not bad. I don't mind it. Now you can get it sliced up like this, or you can get it with just one long fish and you kind of drop it drop it down into your mouth. I think this way is better. You can control the portion size and how much you want on your fish, especially the onions, because the onions will just fall off.
Now we're going somewhere to get the best frite in town.
We got our frites. We have curry ketchup and truffle mayo, and these are supposed to be the best frite in Amsterdam. I'm gonna try with the curry. Pretty good, pretty good. There's also Parmesan cheese all over this thing, so quite messy.
So we're here to try another Dutch classic, a stroopwafel. This is Hans Eggsdorf. It's the oldest, apparently, place in town that they make them. They make them fresh right in front of you. Okay, our first fresh stroopwafel.
That's
It's
freshly
super
made.
hot. All right, let's dig in. Delish. It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet.
It's a lot easier to bite into when it's nice and warm and chewy. It's soft. It's a perfect afternoon snack.
So we're about to head into the Anne Frank house. There's no photos or videos allowed from what we understand, but possibly in one of the rooms that we're going to be in, we can take some photos. Let's go see.
13-year-old Anne Frank chronicled her experience along with her families as they hid from the Nazis in a secret annex behind her father's business for 2 years. While they were later captured and sent to concentration camps in 1944, her father survived and later published her diary as a story of survival and hope.
So we just got finished at the Anne Frank house. First of all, I'll say you have to buy tickets online. They only go on sale on Tuesday mornings and they sell out super quick. So initially when I went to get tickets, they were sold out, but luckily I kept trying and eventually I was able to get tickets while we're here. The ticket that I got was the museum ticket and an introductory half-an-hour program, which I think that was pretty beneficial. It just gave a lot more background and history around it. And then you go in and take a tour of the museum, which is actually the house and the annex and where they were. Pretty heavy experience overall to do it, but it's one that needs to be done.
What I took away from was just how eloquent her writing was for such a young age. She was able to capture these thoughts, these emotions, but for a 12-year-old to have such perspective was really inspirational and amazing to hear and read. This should be on everyone's list coming to Amsterdam, but you've got to get tickets immediately when they go on sale, and use the local time of when they go on sale, Amsterdam time, and then work backwards to wherever you live. But it's absolutely worthwhile coming.
Okay, so it's rush hour on the canals. The guy in the big orange boat was trying to how to do like a 3-4 turn to get under this bridge. Meanwhile, there was a tiny little boat with some tourists that really wasn't paying attention and was getting in his way. He was waiting for this other boat to come. So it's kind of like a traffic. So back in the old days, people were taxed based on the width of their buildings. So you can see how thin and narrow the buildings are, but they go back deep and they go up. But they were only taxed on the width. The Netherlands Empire stretched across the Caribbean, the Americas, and the Far East. So tonight, we decided to try Indonesian food. The Dutch East Indies was a Dutch colony that existed from 1800 to 1949, when Indonesia gained its independence. We're going to get the rice table. I think we're going to get the one that has 18 different dishes, so it should be good. A lot of tasting.
Good thing we're hungry.
Yeah.
So, coconut rice, white rice, yeah, chicken satay, chips, tempeh, mixed vegetable, beef with soy sauce, chicken with coconut. Start with the mild, medium, gado-gado, mixed vegetable with peanut butter sauce, with beans, beef with coconut, chicken with ginger, medium, spicy mosaic fried chili sauce, beef with red pepper and tomato, chicken with green red pepper, mosaic plant. So if you find this really spicy, use this one, sweet coconut to make it less spicy, sweet and sour salad.
All right, thank you.
Got enough food?
A feast.
I've never had Indonesian food before, so I don't know what to expect. But from less spicy to more spicy. We're still in the less spicy. What was your favorite?
Oh my god. Chicken satay was pretty bomb. This beef was really good. Yeah. I actually like the tempeh. This chicken was really good.
Chicken with ginger. Neither one of us have had Indonesian food before, so we can't really base it on any frame of reference. However, with that said, that was pretty delicious. I really enjoyed it. Lots of different types of dishes. You had some vegetarian, you had chicken, you had beef, you also had different range of spices, from very mild to all the way to spicy, but not too spicy. It was delicious. I really enjoyed it. We woke to gray skies, and instead of renting bikes and doing a canal boat ride, we decided to head to the train station for a day trip.
Okay, there are flowers everywhere here. It is so pretty. It's the one thing that I miss at home is not being able to grow so many flowers, but even my favorite dahlias are right there. And look at this cute little display.
Pretzel and coffee, and we're on the train to Haarlem. Haarlem, 15 minutes by train from Amsterdam, is an easy half-day trip.
We're in Haarlem now. We're gonna go explore. See what we can find, be a little spontaneous, because we're not quite sure what to do. We have a few ideas. So as we were coming in on the train, I spotted a windmill and we thought we would come and try to find it. It was super easy. So here is our first one that we've seen on the trip.
We're sitting here waiting at this bridge because it's a turntable bridge and we got two boats waiting to pass, and we think that in about 3 minutes that bridge will spin to allow passage of the boats through.
So as they were doing the bridge so the boats could go through, a cat at the last second jumped on the bridge and got stuck there for the entire time.
But as soon as the bridge pivoted back, it ran right off down the street, so that was pretty hilarious. We explored the old town, admiring the architecture and finding ourselves looking for lunch. More herring? Right over there.
You can have some more herring.
Right over there. Right
I'll
there.
pass. I'm saving myself for lunch.
Yeah, lunch. Herring. Right there.
Nap. I think it's time for a beer.
Never say no to a beer.
So if it looks like a church, that's because it was. Now it's a brewery.
Jopen Brewery started in 1994 and uses 16th century recipes to brew its beer. In 2010, it took over the old JOPENKIRK and transformed it into JOPENKIRK.
It's quite delicious. I could finish it really fast, actually, but I'm saving it for the burger. So we went with a good old American cheeseburger with fries and 2 bitterballen, which are basically meatballs, deep-fried meatballs.
Deep-fried meatballs, yeah. So the bitterballen are deep fried. There's a little bit of meat inside. They are so crispy, so delicious. And they got this mustard sauce that goes with it. Oh, I'm gonna eat a whole bowl of these things.
So I had read online about the CORRIE 10 Boom House, but I thought we had to buy tickets in advance and we weren't sure when we were gonna come. In the end, we just happened to be walking by. We thought we'll just get a photo of the outside, but as luck would have it, they were having tours, there was space, so we went on in and took a tour of the house and saw the hiding place.
Corrie ten Boom and her family hid 4 Jews and 2 resistance fighters in the hiding place. Located behind a false wall, the 6 hid in a narrow 2-foot by 7-foot space only accessible by a sliding door in the bottom of the adjacent closet. Often without water and with just a few crackers and a bucket to be used as a toilet, they evaded Nazi searches. While several members of the ten Boom family died by Nazi hands, the 6 in hiding were never found and survived the war. Well, we checked out the Anne Frank house yesterday, which was from the perspective of someone in hiding. This is from the perspective of those that hid Jews to protect them and save them. And so it's a different side of the same coin. A remarkable story of doing what's right in the face of unimaginable cruelty. We returned to Amsterdam to eat another Dutch speciality.
So I love French onion soup, and they have a Dutch version here. So it's onion soup, but instead of like Gruyere and Swiss, they have Dutch Gouda melted on top. I'll give it a try. It's hot. It's good though. I didn't get the cheese, but the onion soup is really good. Yeah, I can't get to the cheese. I have to wait till it cools down. It just burnt my mouth.
So I got a savory pancake. Their pancakes here are super thin, like a crepe, pretty much, their version. I got chicken and cheese. Super cheesy.
And I got the ham and cheese and onion. Same thing, thin pancake, crispy on the edge. Looks delicious. Pancake is a little sweet, a little bit sweet, not much. The cheese, the sharpness of the cheese and the onions balances that out. Really good.
I couldn't finish the whole thing. They're pretty big, really filling. We could have easily shared one pancake.
Needing to walk off the pancakes, we took a stroll through the infamous red light district, which is more of a seedy tourist attraction than alluring.
So yesterday we went out to Haarlem. We were able to check out one windmill. Today we're gonna go check out a few more over in Zaanse Schans.
15 minutes north of Amsterdam is the preserved and largely recreated traditional town of Zaanse Schans. While a tourist attraction, it's a great place to see working windmills. Coming in here, it's free. You can walk around and do, take a lot of pictures for free. But if you want to go inside a windmill or into the museums or into any of the interactive exhibits, it's $17.50. A little steep maybe, but you get to see something that you don't get to see at home. So this is why we travel, is to have these experiences and try new things and see new places. And it takes money to maintain these places, so totally understandable.
We're inside the windmill.
We're inside a windmill, and we got lots of gears moving. Very cool. Windmills and these little huts, these little cottages everywhere. Makes you feel like you step back 300 years. With wood gears, you got to imagine that they have to replace those because they'll get ground down. It's old, 300, 400, 500-year-old technology. And we're just using it again today in more newer metal forms when you see the big windmill farms that are creating electricity. Obviously they were onto something hundreds of years ago and we're still using it today. There are 11 windmills in Zaanse Schans, though not all are open to the public. And while each has a different function, like grinding spices, milling paint powder, or roasting and grinding peanuts to make peanut oil, the most fascinating use of wind power was the windmill that was actually a sawmill.
So this mill was super fascinating to me. One mills wood, and so it uses the wind power to power the saws, which cuts the wood into the planks behind me. And it all depends how strong the wind is until it can go through a whole log of wood.
That was probably one of the most interesting things we've seen. The way the wind moves the saws up and down, up and down. They have to be sharpened every 70 to 100 meters. And depending upon the wind speed is how quickly it gets cut. Some days, it's at 80 days a year, there's practically no wind, not enough wind to operate the mill. So the other 270 odd are constant working, cutting wood and then shipping off. They sell the wood as a way of driving income. So one of the other things we learned here is that each of these mills are owned by somebody else, individuals. They're not owned by a company. It's not part of a tourist company. They're individually owned, and so each have a working function, and they sell the results of that working function. So the first one we visited was paint. They do paint, dyes, and pigments and whatnot, and this one does wood. So fascinating. We made our way back to explore the crafts village just as it was getting crowded.
We are in the weaver's house.
For my shuttle to go through, like this. And now my thread is immediately in between the two layers of threads. Then they pulled the machine once, but because they wanted to make really strong material, they switched their pedals again, and they did it 2 times extra.
Cheese, yes please. It's a good thing we came early.
If you're gonna come here, get the first bus or train combo out here. Enjoy it while it's quiet, and then as it starts getting crowded, head on out.
So we're gonna go check out something that's been hiding in plain sight here for hundreds of years.
While Amsterdam is a progressively tolerant city today, back in the 1500s, Catholicism was outlawed. The remaining Catholics needed to worship in hiding. What looks like a normal house hides a secret in the attic. Our Lord in the Attic was just one of 25 or so called house churches, and is the last remaining. It's crazy what people had to do throughout history to practice their faiths. And in this case, when Catholicism was outlawed, they had to build a church in an attic of a home.
So out of all of those house churches that they used to call them, this is the only one that is left intact. So there are so many things in there that are still 100% original, back from the 16th century.
We had just enough time before our boat cruise, so we grabbed some of the famous Van Stapel cookies.
We are going to indulge in some chocolatey goodness.
Of course, a beer and some more bitterballen before heading to the dock. There are over 165 canals in Amsterdam, covering almost 60 miles. That's more than Venice. So getting on the water is a must. So as we mentioned yesterday, we were gonna do a boat tour, but because it was raining, we switched it to today. They were super accommodating at those damn boat guys. It was nice that they let us switch to a night that's not gonna rain, and it's beautiful out.
Fun boat ride, went by all sorts of cool little sites and canals and tiny canals.
And we did it at sunset, or golden hour, and so the light on the buildings was really pretty. So highly recommend those boat guys. So far in Amsterdam, we've seen that the Dutch have mastered painting, canals, bikes, and harnessing the wind. But there is one more thing that the Dutch have mastered, and that is cheese. So we are heading to Gouda for a cheese market.
So at home, We always pronounce it Gouda. We're going to go eat some Gouda cheese. But really, the town is called Gouda. So the G is kind of like an H sound.
Gouda. Gouda.
So here we are in Gouda, and only once a week on Thursday mornings, they do the whole presentation of the cheese, where all of the farmers bring their cheeses to the market, and there's a whole gathering of the merchants and the farmers, and they have this whole process where they negotiate for their cheese, and they tap on it and see if they can hear air in the cheese, and it's a whole kind of dance of negotiation and hand slapping until they figure out and agree on the price of their cheese, and that's how they've been selling it for hundreds of years.
Oh, it'd be so much more fun if they slapped each other. Then we get a real negotiation. You think the MC stands for Master of Cheese?
Yes, absolutely. We cannot come to Gouda without getting some Gouda cheese. We opted to go for the natural instead of getting a cheese with whatever kind of flavor. They have several different flavors, but the natural is really good on its own. And you got a stroopwafel.
I got a cheese waffle.
Oh,
Gouda cheese waffle. So in Gouda, they've taken the stroopwafel and improved it, made a savory version. 2 little waffle, or whatever they call them. And then instead of the caramel, they put cheese, Gouda cheese, and it's like a great grilled cheese. So yummy.
that's a fabulous idea.
It was so charming here that we had to wander around the rest of the square and the town.
Go take a spin.
So we couldn't come to Amsterdam and not ride bikes. Everybody else is doing it. We have to do it. We don't feel super safe out on the streets. A lot of traffic, people weaving in and out, and all that trams to worry about. So we've come to Vondel Park, and we're just going to take a leisurely ride around the park. Should be fun. Great way to spend a couple hours in the afternoon.
It's beautiful out here. It's so pretty and so green and lush.
Yeah.
What a beautiful park.
Someone's getting
It's
married.
actually like a beautiful wedding with horse-drawn carriage and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, someone's
Right
being
over there.
ultra romantic.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna ride around. So fun. Love this. Make sure I don't hit a tree.
Please don't hit a tree.
While the bikes were a fun ride, there was one more ride we had to do in Amsterdam. It may look like a normal building, a normal hotel, but the rooftop holds something super unique. We're gonna go do it right now.
I'm going to say I'm super proud of myself for actually doing it because I have a weird dislike of heights. And we were over the edge of the building, so I try to just focus looking straight out and not down, because looking down would not be a pretty sight.
As we swung out, that's when I felt like, oh, we're over the edge, which is the name of it, so duh. 2 minutes, maybe, swing backwards and forwards, and it's a fun, unique way to see from up above the city. Would recommend do it, book tickets online.
So as the sun sets, so does our visit to Amsterdam. We've had so much fun here enjoying its beauty, culture, and food. It's a city that's just plain cool. And of course, there is more to the Netherlands than Amsterdam, and someday we will be back to experience it. Hopefully, after watching this, you are inspired to come here and be just as enchanted as we were.